Good evening, ghoulies and ghosties and long-leggedy beasties. This is Alex, coming at you from the underworld, and welcome back to another episode of... Since we're practicing self-quarantine, I wanted to do another top 3 book video. Now, last week I did a top 3 book video, and it was in regards to books that were suitable for adults and young adults, so if people wanted to read them as a family, they could do so, and still be able to enjoy them as being a part of the horror genre. Now, with the books that I've selected for this video, they are quite a bit more adulterated. But if your kid has already read stuff like Stephen King or Clive Barker, then these books really should not be a problem whatsoever. But with the books that I selected, they are going to be themed by the subject of apocalyptic horror and pandemic horror. And these are in no particular order whatsoever, but they are some of my favorite books, and they are, of course, my top 3 picks. Now, with that being said, these are also books that I wanted to make sure was available to the public in ebook and audio, so I did a check online, and all of these titles are available on ebook and audio, so you can get them in your hands before the night is over. That way you don't have to go out into the crowds, which it's urged at this time not to go out into the crowds, and you don't have to worry about having to wait for a hard copy to be mailed to you. So, without further ado, let's see what my magical bag has in store for us tonight. Alright, the first book is... Infected by Scott Sigler. This is a sick book. Oh my god, like, it really goes into the whole splatterpunk realm of things, and this is actually sci-fi horror, and it is totally into the whole pandemic scare, it's into the apocalyptic scare, and what we have here is a bioengineered parasite that once it gets inside of you, it drives you insane, and it causes you to kill people, torture people, harm yourself. There's really no limits to it. And once the parasite gets inside of you, it looks like these blue triangles that you see right here in the person's eye. And the story is taken from the perspective of a guy named Perry, which he's a former football player. And we get to see some pretty nasty scenes in here. One of which is in regards to some scissors in the male genitalia. So if you think you can handle it, this is totally a good gross out. It's full of suspense, and also this is something where I really feel that if you're a horror fan and you want to get into sci-fi horror, especially biological sci-fi horror, then this is totally the book for you. Now on to the second book. Aha! The Taking by Dean Koontz. Now, this is before Koontz lost his edge, because I feel a lot of his newer work, it's too tame for me. It honestly feels like a suspense drama that's intended to be like a Lifetime movie or something. But this is back when he still had the nerve to write about creatures and thrills and chills and just creepy things. And with this book, it's constructed in a way where we don't really know if it's an alien invasion or if it's something that's going on because of biblical reasons. And truth be it, there is a lot of biblical subtext to this, so it could be the apocalypse in a biblical sense. Now, the story is told through the perspective of a married couple named the Sloans, and it begins where we have this heavy rainfall, and afterwards there's a fog that comes in and covers the town. But by how it feels, it might as well have covered the world. And in the fog, you have all of these strange noises, and it just gets weirder and weirder because we realize that the world has been invaded by something that's not human or something that is spiritual. And it just becomes creepier throughout. So if you're looking for something that's for thrills and chills and just to keep you on the edge of your seat and keep your doors locked and your blinds pulled, this is the book for you. Now on to the final book, which is Havoc Hater by David Moody. Now, this is very psychological, it's very suspenseful, and it is gory. Now, it's not as gory as Infected by Scott Sigler, but it's up there. And with this, it does kind of feel like a zombie apocalypse deal, even though this really isn't zombies whatsoever. What we're working with here is a virus that is nothing but an emotional virus. And what happens is it can go to a person who's completely sane and level-headed, and it can turn them by the snap of a finger and make them paranoid. It can make them homicidal. It just makes them go completely insane, and they can create a whole bloodbath. And this thing, it's just intense. It's very intense, and it's also just something that is a really great conversation piece. So if you're looking for something that is just an adrenaline pumping read, this is totally the book for you. I hope everyone enjoys the books that I selected, and these are books that I will give a more detailed review of in the near future. It's just that I would like to reread them again because it's been like 5 or 10 years since I read them the last time. So I would just like to have a little refresher there before I give a detailed review. And as far as this weekend is concerned, be sure to tune in because I'm going to give a detailed book review on a classic horror book. And it is, of course, written by a classic horror author who is a master of horror. So I don't want you to miss out on that. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell because I have tons more book reviews coming in the near future. And I would also like to say thank you to Lisa G, Joseph Baylott, and J.L. Mulvihill. And the reason why is because they've been gracious enough to contribute to my Patreon account. If you would like to contribute as well, it's $5 a month. And at the end of every video, I'll give you a shout out. If you want to do $10 a month, there is an option for that. And once a month, I'll give you a free photo that I've taken, and you will continue to receive your shout out at the end of every video. Now, in regards to the people who I just listed, J.L. Mulvihill is a young adult fantasy steampunk author, and she has books out that are available in ebook and print. So if you want to check her out, be sure to do that through any book-related site. And if you decide to hit her up online, just let her know Alex sent you. And by the way, if you're a creator as well and you want to contribute to my Patreon, I'll give you a shout out in regards to your profession as well. So totally, if you're able to do that, that's awesome. If not, just continue coming back here and let's all just have fun together. Now, if you would like to find me on social media, I have links to my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram all in the description section of this video, as well as the link to Patreon. And until I see everyone this weekend, I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're in good spirits. And if you're feeling under the weather, I hope you feel better soon. So until I see you again, sweet nightmares.